soon as it pops up on there, you know you're. Thank you.
All right, so it is 6:06, and I will call the meeting to order. Would everyone stand for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Alicia, would you do roll call, please?
Yes. Lacey Oster. Here. Sherry Link.
Here.
Bruce Belargen. Lori Belargen.
Here.
Matt Foucault.
Here.
Marge Belil.
Here.
Thank you. Our district mission: together we engage, educate, and empower all learners, bridging their passions to pathways to create successful futures and positively contribute to our local and global communities. We are now to the portion of the agenda where we ask for public comment, and I had 2 emails requesting public comment. Mark, did you have any?
Well,
Was that a no? Okay. All right, so I will call the first one. No, I think I got them all.
oh,
Okay.
Okay, Patty Jo, can you hear us?
yes, I can.
Okay, you are on speakerphone for public comment.
First, I want to thank everyone who was in support of the community testing center. That is going to be amazing for our community. And there are members on this board who do not care about the community. Sure, they claim they wanted to unmask the kids and get me off the board. When push comes to shove, they have shown that they are only there for their own selfish motivation. This testing site is a tool for our community. If it isn't in Somerset, it will be somewhere else. And as a taxpayer, we have already paid for this service regardless of the location. And whether Cherie or Matt want to admit it, people in Somerset are still dying from COVID. Parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, etc. are dying from COVID. This isn't a fluke, it exists, and it is killing our community members. One would like to think that with our district doing the bare minimum right now, while people are dying, we would want to step up the game a little more. Testing is a service that will not only help those, or testing is a service that will only help those who are willing to use it. That is it. Half of the board cannot benefit from it because they don't have kids in the district. Yet they voted for it, those of us who do, to provide a service of those of us who have children in the community. They have voted for the community. Matt and Cherie voted for the special interest group that continues to claim they are the voice of Somerset when really they are an embarrassment to Somerset. The echo chambers they live in are not real life, except now some of them are actually being affected by these horrible tragedies that come with COVID, the very real deaths that are linked with this virus. This testing site will benefit people who do not have the luxury of employers who give PTO for testing and work from home options. Community members will not have to take off multiple days of work for the results for themselves and their children. There are a number of people in our district who work in industries that do not allow missing work. And Matt actually made a great point when he addressed the fact that parents always have and are continuing to send kids to school sick. People who refuse to test their kids are also continuing to send their symptomatic children to the school without a care on whether or not that child is spreading a highly infectious disease to our community members. The school district is more than a daycare provider. Matt, Cherie, you can get annoyed with Marge and her working expertise with COVID all you want. She is working in healthcare with this virus. She knows intimately and personally that, and does not come from a place of ignorance. I don't see her telling you, Matt, how to be a cop, and you, Cherie, how to run your business. But you sure don't think that she knows what she's talking about. You constantly state how you know more than her because you know how to Google, and have a group of ignorant community members screaming BS that you eat up. Your arrogance and ignorance is going to continue to kill our community members.
20 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty Jo. thank you for keeping time. Will you do it for the next?
Yeah, I saw you kinda
please?
scrambling there, so.
Yeah, I got it started, but I knew I was late. All right, so, 8-1.
Is Marge still connected?
Yeah, Marge, you're still there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Alicia and I practiced.
Okay.
earlier. 2.
I just panicked because I heard the beep boop sound. And it's hang up.
Hello?
Hello, Patty.
Yeah.
This is Lori. You are on speakerphone for public comment, and Matt is going to start the timer.
Yep.
Okay. First, I want to just say thank you for allowing me to have a few minutes to speak. I wanted to thank the board for having the testing site. It's very important that we do this service for our community, and it's for all of our community. We have to remember as a school district that we serve all of the students, and with the decision of Brown versus Board of Education 1954, it clearly reflects in the 14th Amendment that all children have a right to a public education that's free and safe. So having this here, testing site, is good for all students. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. But if you do want to use it, the opportunity is there. And thank you so much. This testing site will save lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. And Marge, you're still there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we are done with the open forum portion of the meeting. Mark, the superintendent's report is next. Did you want to begin?
Yeah, just a couple of quick things here. The testing site will open January 10th, and the hours will be 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday, that's Monday through Friday, and Saturday 8 to noon. And we're going to monitor it very closely and make sure we're getting the use of it when it's no longer needed. This is not a permanent thing by any means, but it's a service as long as we're in this situation that we're in right now. So again, we'll monitor it very closely and see where it goes. A couple things that came up on Friday that I didn't get a chance to put on here. We're starting to deal with new waves of threats to our schools, and we're dealing with threats of threats. And we're trying to figure out how to deal with this. I spoke with this FBC superintendents on Friday, and it's really kind of a quandary here, because now we're dealing with the media and social media and perceived threats to the schools and kids. And I just envision us doing some work on our protocols on how to deal with this. I look at it as the new wave of bomb threats that we're dealing with technology now. So again, just be prepared. We're probably gonna have to change some of our protocols on how we notify people, when we notify them, and how we do of these perceived situations. The media isn't helping us at all. It's like that snowstorm last week. What they were predicting, half the schools started a couple hours late or didn't have school at all, and it really didn't materialize into what they were predicting. So we just need some common sense in how we're going to approach these pieces in the future here. I'll just jump into the enrollment piece here. We're down 4 students from last year at this time. We're up 3 from last month, so it's just bouncing back and forth. And the last thing I have here is that the district office is going to be closed over Christmas. There'll probably be some people around on and off, but just in general, people are taking vacation, and I'm urging them to just get out of there for a couple weeks and rest. That's all I have.
Did anybody have any questions for Mark? Cherie, did you have any questions? Marge, did you have any?
None, no.
Okay. All right, then Abby, did you want to talk about the Alice rule next? Abby, did you want to talk about the Alice drill next?
There we go. Sorry, it keeps cutting out. So I just wanted to see if you had any questions. I sent all of you the reports from the drills that we did the last few weeks. They went great. The teachers did really well. It was good to really get in and do a live drill again since we didn't do one last year. And it was a good refresher and brought up lots of topics to discuss on planning with students. Next step will be after the break, doing a lockdown practice with students in all the buildings. A very controlled, very step-by-step drill, so nothing scary for students at all. Just going to take a few minutes and have each classroom build a barricade and then have them test it. So that would be the next step. But did you have any questions for me?
No.
Marge?
No.
Cherie?
No.
Thank you. Okay, if Mark and Abby, you're good, we will move on to the policy updates. So would anyone like to make a motion to approve the policies as listed on the agenda? This is a second reading. We went through them last, at the beginning of the month, December.
I'll make a motion. Make a motion to approve the policies as listed, section 4AI, policies 1 through 8 as listed on the agenda.
All right, thank you, Matt. Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, Marge seconded. Any further discussion on the policies? Cherie, I'm afraid that there's a delay and that I'm going to move on before you have an opportunity to ask a question.
Nope, you're good. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so hearing no questions or discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is to recommend the school board approve early graduation for 3 students. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to recommend the early graduation for 3 students listed.
All right, a motion by Lacey. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I will make a second.
Okay, second by Cherie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Mark, the next item is the open board position discussion. You and I sent a document back and forth. Did the rest of the board members have access to that?
No, the other thing we sent, that was just you and I, and the only thing the board got were the resumes or the application from, what we filled out.
Okay, so perhaps the best thing to do then would be to talk through the document that you and I were sending back and forth.
You want to do it or don't need to?
If you don't mind, I'll do it, and if I miss something, will you chime in? Because I'm having a hard time hearing you. Okay, so, this is a possibility of a plan to move forward with filling the vacancy. So, the first thing we're going to need to do is figure out when we can have a special session to address this separately and invite all 5 of the applicants in. All of us got the responses to the questions, to the interview questions, but we could meet them in person and ask any follow-up questions that we might have. And then Mark's idea, and I agree, is that we do a first round of voting. We'd each have a piece of paper, a small piece of paper, and we would vote for each person would vote for one of the 5 applicants. We're gonna give those pieces of paper to Alicia, and Alicia would go through them and tell us the 2 top vote getters, and then we would do another vote. And so one of the questions I asked Mark was, well, what if we have 3 people who all have 2 votes? You know, would we do a second round with just those 3? And we were thinking yes. What do you guys think?
But we'd have to.
Yeah.
Okay?
So a second round of, like a second interview
So
or
then-
interaction with them, or just a second vote?
Just a second vote, but
Yeah.
but that time, only those 3 people, or whoever the top 2 or 3 vote, if it's a tie.
To
it would
continue to
be-
narrow it down.
Yeah.
I think that's appropriate.
And then we could possible board discussion between the voting rounds. And then a final paper vote where the top vote getter wins. And I asked Mark, okay, so what do we do if they're a tie? Do we ask if someone is willing to change their vote? And then, well, if not, can we just have a deck of cards? And whoever draws the high
Because
card.
there's 6 of us, right?
No, of the 2, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's a tie.
Right, 'cause we
Yeah.
haven't even-
people-
Because we could have a tie.
Yeah, we could, because we have 6.
Right.
So, and if no one's willing to change their vote, then just have the 2 people and high card wins. What do you guys think about that? Mark said that he has seen that done before.
Just a quick comment here, you can, you can actually go like maybe 2 rounds, and if it's still tied, then go to cutting the deck. That actually happened to us helping incorporate before with the board seat. So it's just a way to break the tie.
Which is why it's important to have 7 people on board.
Or 5.
So you're saying with the tie, do another round of vote, see if it ties again? Right? Do a second vote. If it ties a second time, then you get, the card. All right. So you can get behind that.
All right. Cherie, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I'm a little concerned about the card drawing thing, but just navigate that when we get to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we just keep voting.
Yeah, this is what we have to have a way to end it if no one is willing to change their minds. And really, when you look, I mean, we're talking January, February, March, April, 4 months. And everybody who applied for this vacancy is certainly welcome to file as a candidate for the April election.
Right.
Marge, is there anything you wanted to ask or add?
Nope, that sounds good.
Okay,
There's not much of a way we can do it otherwise.
Matt, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm just looking at that questionnaire that went out, and we haven't seen these candidates yet,
Not
correct?
in person, we have not.
Is there an email on them, on who they are?
Well, Alicia sent out the document.
There it is, there, I saw it, I can't find it, okay.
Okay, no, it's not attached to the agenda, if that's what you got.
No, I'm looking at the email, yes, there we go, got it, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, I had nothing else to say, I'm just
All
talking
right.
about.
Okay, so could everyone, I'd like to know if we could possibly do this, have a special session on Wednesday, let me see, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, January 5th, 6th, or 7th.
Well, I'm working all 3 of those days, but maybe I'll be able to take off or something too, or it depends on if it's in the evening or when it is, what time of day it is.
It would be in the evening. What time would work for you, Marge?
Well, Wednesday I work till 8, so that wouldn't be good.
No.
6:30?
6:30? 6:30, yeah, I mean, we didn't used to start school board meetings until 7 o'clock, so
Yeah,
I think 6:30 is doable. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Lacey,
yeah.
For a certain day,
yeah,
I'm fine with 6:30,
okay,
but I'm not fine with all 3 of the days.
right, yeah. Do any of those?
This-
Would it be
6th is the
possible to
best.
look at January 3rd?
I don't think we have school January 3rd. Do we, Alicia? Is January 3rd a
There's no
school day?
school.
There's no
Right.
school that day. It's part of winter break still.
So the office is closed.
So the office is closed.
Teacher in service.
Oh, it's an in-service day?
We would be here.
Oh, so Alicia is saying that it would be a possibility to do the 3rd.
Yeah, that Monday, yeah, we can be there Monday.
Marge, does Monday the 3rd work for you?
Yeah, Monday the 3rd would be okay.
How about you, Lacey?
Could we do then this at 6 instead of 6, or could we do earlier?
Could we do it at 6 o'clock on the 3rd?
Yeah, I'm free all afternoon.
Sheree,
works for
is
me.
6 o'clock on the 3rd good for you?
Yep.
Yeah, how
I'm not
about
Yes,
you?
it
gonna be
would.
there. Same way.
I'm sorry, did Sheree say something?
She said it worked.
Okay.
3rd at
Yes.
6:30, you're saying?
Yeah. Would 6 o'clock be too early for you?
No, I think I could do that. I think I could do either time.
Actually, I can do later too, because I can do it at 6:30 too. I'm just-
Well, if 6 o'clock will work for everybody, you know,
just-
let's do it earlier rather than later.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Let me just verify one last thing.
What happens if any of those 5 candidates that day doesn't work?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Or at least, I mean, hopefully virtually or something. I mean, I'd like to make sure that
Yeah,
that works for all 5 of the candidates.
yeah.
I'd be good for the 3rd at 6.
Okay, so we're tentatively planning for Monday, January 3rd for a special session at 6 o'clock. And Alicia, would you contact the 5 people and see if that works for all of them?
Yes.
Thank you. Mark, is there anything else that I didn't think of that we should talk about with this item?
No, we can get it all.
All right, if there's nothing further, then I would take a motion to approve a 2022-2023 contract for our district administrator.
I'll make a motion. Make a motion to approve the 2022-2023 District Administrator contract as listed in the agenda under 5C.
Thank you. So Matt has made a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Sheree. Any discussion or questions on this? We had 2 closed sessions on this topic already. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Then the next item on this section is possible dates for a discussion of board protocols. I was hoping that perhaps we could do this just a half an hour early ahead of our work session maybe in January 10th. Does that work for people? So we would start with a special session at 5:15 or 5:30.
Let's see where we get.
Well, I'm hopeful
Apparently, we're
that
start the discussion and see.
that we'll be able to get that accomplished in a half an hour. I'm hoping.
I'm in favor for that.
Marge, are you available at, how early are you available on the 10th to have a special session prior to the 6 o'clock meeting?
I would say 4 o'clock, you know, after 4, anytime after 4.
Okay, Matt, how about you?
Well, probably 5.
Okay.
I guess I look at my schedule.
You keep looking. Lacey?
I could be flexible.
Okay. Cherie, how does January 10th look for you? Would you be able to do a special session ahead of the work session?
So I have a conflict that entire evening. I'm hoping that I can Zoom conference in, but as of now, I am double booked for that entire evening.
Okay.
And with that really should be in person.
Yeah.
We all need to be here.
Well, I think we could Zoom it as well, but yeah, it's important that we're all participating.
Yeah. What about on the January 3rd date? I mean, how long do you think these,
I don't know.
do you know anything past?
No. I mean,
The 5
we
people could
had
take a
one
while.
a long time ago, and my memory of it was that it took quite a bit of time.
Right, take the time.
You know, Matt, just a comment here, I think just with the 5 candidates and the voting process, I think you're gonna be looking at probably an hour, 15 minutes with that process, because you're gonna bring these people in for about, 10, 15 minutes max. That's it. We may not even use all that time. The voting process will probably take 10 minutes unless we have some, things and ties and things like that. But really, I think we get done in probably about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it depends on how it goes. The last time we did it, it took a long time.
What about at the regular?
There's rules in place now, really stretched it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Being the regular meeting make it shorter, right?
Well, but we also have the listening session scheduled before the regular meeting. We could do it after the work session or after the regular session. You don't want to do that?
No, the 24th is my one that doesn't, that's like Cherie's 10th.
You have a conflict?
Double booked.
Okay. Well, does anybody have another suggestion?
Cherie?
What if we did the 17th? It would add another night in, but would that be a possibility?
There's no school that day.
It's I think there's an in-service that day. Is there an in-service that day, January 17th?
It's Martin Luther King.
Yeah, I think it's an in-service day.
What day of the week is that?
It's a Monday.
Monday.
Oh, okay, because later that week is, I think, isn't that the WASB?
Yes, it is, later that week. I'm available on the 17th.
That evening's full.
Yeah, that's.
So the 17th doesn't
We
work.
see each other every Monday that month.
It sounds like that's not gonna work for Lacey or Matt. Cherie, how about if you take a look at the 10th, and if you are going to be able to Zoom, maybe we can, because I think 5 o'clock on the 10th worked for everyone else, and if you can join us via Zoom, maybe that will work.
So I'm out of town, but I don't know what I'll have for cell coverage. So I certainly want to be there, but I won't know if I will have any coverage where I'm at until that morning. You know, if you guys want to go ahead and schedule it, if nothing else, I can even try to call in. If I don't have Zoom capabilities, we figure something out.
Okay, is there a possibility that you could contact somebody in that location to see what service is like?
Yeah, so yes, I will reach out, on that morning. And actually, I will be there a few days before that, so I'll try, as soon as I get to that location, I will reach out and see what we've got for service in that area.
Okay, thank you. So again, it's tentative
Yes.
for January 10th at 5 o'clock.
That'll be a closed session,
No,
open session.
yeah, but we won't, it'll be like our last time when we had the WASB person here,
Yeah.
where it won't be
Open to
live
public,
streamed.
just not live stream.
Right.
Okay.
So special session, 5 o'clock.
And how does that work for the special session with the 5 candidates? Is that
That's open.
closed? That's open as well?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, so Mark, is there anything else under item number 5 that you wanted to add?
Let me pull back up here, item 5. No, I'm good.
Okay, Cherie, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, Marge, how about you?
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Number 6 is the consent agenda. Would anybody care to make a motion?
I will make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed on the agenda as section 6, A, 1 and 2, B, 1, and C, 1 and 2.
All right, so a motion by Matt. Is there a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Lacey. Second by Lacey. Did anybody have any questions or comments about any of the items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. General information, our next meetings, the work session on the 10th, the regular session on the 24th, and then we have once around the table. Cherie, is there anything that you would like to bring up?
No,
All right. Marge, is there anything you'd like to bring up?
no,
All right. Lacey?
I'm happy that we had the listening session tonight and that we had some individuals show up to have those discussions with and encourage people to partake in that in the future as well. The other thing is just addressing what Mark said with social media and the recent threats. I would love to have a conversation in the future about making, incorporating some of that within, I know they do it at some grade levels, but just some maybe, I don't know, discussions around social media and just
Yep,
things that are happening around that, so.
We have a board policy addressing that, and it is required to be in the curriculum, and our schools have met that requirement.
There's been a lot kind of going in, even then with saying that, I know Roxanne had brought that up before, just looking at, I know it was really interesting, Mark, when you forwarded the email from the high school teacher, just kind of with that phone survey and the little experiment they did in the class, and just kind of looking at what we can do to make sure that we're providing the best environment for our students, and I don't know, maybe looking at that.
Yeah, Lacey, just a comment on that. Yeah, that was really good information, just, what that teacher did to provide that. And when I met with the staff over at high school for 2.5 hours, I'm critically unanimous that the cell phone is the biggest distraction that we have for learning over there. And this is all over again. But, I know that the principals, Farah and Shannon have been going back and tightening up some of these things, but I think we need to have that discussion you're talking about, the whole social media, the TikTok thing, the because we're hitting a new wave of things here. And I mentioned before, we're starting to deal with threats and threats. You know, we know what to do if we have to receive a threat. And we've got procedures, protocols, policies, you know, in practice. But it's a whole perceived threat, and you know, just like what happened, you know, how do we react to that? What happened? That's what we want to have a bigger discussion around the whole thing. That's a good one.
And the Prairie Project, that was asked by, that was asked by a parent. Can we have a,
Well, that's moving forward.
that's going forward, okay.
Yeah.
What project?
The Prairie Project.
Yeah, it's slow, and that's the way the fishing game works. Nothing's too quick there. So, but our teacher's on top of it, and you know, he's at their mercy. But yeah, we do have a good section of land out there. Not a section, a good piece of land out there. Put in the work.
If I remember correctly, you said it was 1 acre approximately. Is that correct?
I can't, no, that I don't know. I think it's at least that.
That's all I have.
All right. Matt?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. Just first to the administrative staff and the business office for making those compensation changes. It looks like everything was completed and done, and I hope that all of our staff recognize that any changes. So thank you so much for all the hard work that went into making that happen in a
Very
quick fashion. And you know, just a thank you to our teachers. I'm glad we were able to make a change. With that, I had some conversations as the new clerk and having to start to understand a little bit more about the compensation piece. And I would like to invite at a future meeting, I don't know when the best time is, but at a future meeting to have, you know, maybe Dave or the business office just come in and maybe educate, Lacey maybe in the same place, educate me in terms of compensation. And I know, Mark, you've talked about doing a new study, because I have questions about cost of living increases and, you know, how we are or aren't recognizing those in all of our staff. With inflation, we've taken a huge hit, and, you know, these staff aren't seeing that. So I would like to understand, you know, kind of what is the plan? How do we make sure that we're competitive? And I know you have your plan, so whether it's an update from you and maybe some conversation from the business office about just helping me as a board member understand how do we compensate our staff. I would appreciate that at some point. And then I just wanted to echo off Lacey, the listening session. There was some questions, and maybe at a future meeting in January at some point, maybe we could have Ryan come in from the health side of things and just answer a couple questions that were brought up. You know, community members were here, they asked questions, and I think the three of us, we don't know the answers, so I would like to invite Ryan just to come in and maybe help answer some of those questions that are out there. That's it.
And to help Ryan be prepared to answer those questions, maybe the three of us can work on compiling them.
Yes.
So he knows
What- yes.
what
Yes.
information
Absolutely.
to bring.
Yep, absolutely.
And just a quick comment that, you know, I'm working with school perceptions on a survey to go out sometime in January, February, and we're gonna survey several different things, and one of them will be asking some questions about communication along the lines of COVID and how we handled last year and this year. So we get some input from our parents and that, along with our learning environment, and also some kind of dipping the toe in the water on the future referendum as far as what the support levels are. So we'll be testing several things, and we'll get some good input from the community on that.
Hey, Mark, one question that came up, and maybe you can answer this, being you've worked at different districts. What is your opinion on getting a true representation with a survey? Because you know, some families have 10 kids in the district, some have one, some have one parent, some might have 4 parents. Who responds to those surveys, and how do you truly know that it's representative?
Well, when we, you know, I guess it's always, I don't want to say suspect, but, you know, when we do our own surveys, you know, there's probably some holes that can be shot in them somewhere like that. But we're going to be using school perceptions, and they're pretty good at casting a wide net, a wide demographic. But these are all things I can bring up to them, and that's why we're using school perception.
Okay.
Well, it's an independent, you know, they handle it, we don't see the results until they present it.
Perfect, thank you.
Then I just had a couple of items. Mark, have you gotten any responses from board members about attending the CISA board development on January 5th?
I have not.
So I'm wondering if that means no one is available, or if that means people have just not responded. So whether you're available or not, could you please send an email to Mark so he knows if people are available to attend that CISA board development on January 5th? And Mark, have you gotten any response from board members regarding the WASB convention, January 19th to the 21st?
No, I haven't, and so, you need to respond, so this next week we're going to cancel rooms if we're not going.
So,
With that SUSA meeting, I will get a van and drive over there so you don't drive alone.
okay,
Just think for the WASB group.
so whether you are able to attend or not, would you please send an email to Mark regarding your availability for the WASB convention on January 9th to the 21st? And then I would just like to give a reminder of my request for a report to the board at the January work session from the district's new reading specialist literacy coach regarding time being spent in classrooms as a literacy coach. How many classrooms has she been in? How often is she in there? We're almost halfway through the year. Now I'd like to get an update on how that is working in practice. All right then, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Excuse me, just one last thing.
Yes,
At our next meeting, George will be gone. I just want to thank him for his 10 years of service. They had a little lunch for him today and kind of a holiday piece also. And just for me, the last 5-6 years working with him has just been fantastic. He's been a great soldier through this whole building process that we went through, and we're going to miss him.
thank you, Mark. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, thank you. Lacey's made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Matt. All in favor?
I
I
Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 6:49. Thank you. Bye, Marge. Oh, I think she hung up already. Okay, then Matt.
Yes.
Oh, Roxanne was in, and she brought back these books.